Come back alive.
I will, because you're watching.
My name is Marcus Sterling. I was a coalition commander, which meant my job was standing between humanity and things that wanted us dead. This was a Tuesday. The things that wanted us dead decided Tuesday was a good day to attack Kepler Station with 800 warrior drones. Sleek obsidian nightmares with too many legs and plasma-resistant hides that our standard weapons barely dented. The defense grid lasted 3 minutes. The evacuation shuttles needed 6. I was going to buy humanity 4 more minutes. The defensive gate sealed behind me with a hiss. 100 enemies. 1 soldier. Lyria Vex, a Sylvari princess who'd come to Earth as a cultural ambassador and ended up stranded here during the attack, stood on the other side of that gate's observation window, her hand pressed against the reinforced glass. She wasn't supposed to be watching. The evacuation protocol said get to the shuttles and stop looking back. Lyria had stopped following protocol about 3 days after she'd met me. Come back alive, she'd said, grabbing my shoulder with both hands, her fingers digging into the tactical weave of my armor. Because you're watching, I'd answered like it was the simplest math in the universe. Like the fact of her standing there was reason enough to walk into impossible odds. She was still watching when the first wave hit. They came fast. A coordinated surge of nightmare biology. Mandibles clicking, plasma charges building in their thoraxes. I moved like every combat sim I'd run, every training scenario, every moment of preparation crystallized into pure reaction. The plasma rifle came up, and the first drone exploded in blue fire. The second dropped beside it. The third and fourth fell before they cleared the debris of their predecessors. But there were 800 more. I fell back toward the secondary checkpoint, using the narrowing corridors to funnel them, to make the tight geometry work against their numbers. It was a good strategy. Bought me 30 seconds. The plasma rifle heated fast out here, and when it overheated I switched to the kinetic launcher, and when that cycled through its ammunition I was fighting hand-to-hand, because some of these things died to close combat in ways that looked less clean but worked just as well. I heard Lyria's voice over the comms. Not supposed to be on this channel. Marcus, you're 6 o'clock, 3 incoming. She was tracking them on the external sensors, calling out patterns I was too deep in the fight to see. I adjusted, got the angle, and took down the 3 she'd spotted before they'd cleared the corner. You should be on the shuttle, I said. The shuttle doesn't leave for 2 minutes. I'm watching, she said, and her voice was steady in a way that steadied me, like her presence on the other side of that glass was a lifeline made of pure conviction. The drones kept coming. My armor was scoring, my shield generator cycling red, warning alarms screaming that I was taking damage faster than the suit could distribute it. I was going to bleed out of here, and we both knew it. I could see her through the glass when I wheeled around to take a stand near the secondary gate. Her hands pressed against the window, her face a study in controlled fear and absolute refusal to look away. 60 drones left, she called out. I counted my ammunition. Not enough. I counted my body's remaining capacity for impact. Also not enough. I had exactly enough left to make it count. I switched the rifle to overload mode and wedged it into the secondary gate's defensive turret, which meant I was out of heavy weapons and was about to fight with nothing but combat knives and whatever the armor's integrated toolkit could provide. It meant I was betting everything on the weapons I didn't have on my speed and the fact that Lyria was still watching, still believing, still somehow convinced that I was walking out of this. The next wave hit the overload and 50 drones detonated in a cascading chain reaction that shook the whole corridor. Lyria's hands came up to grip the glass like it was the only thing holding her vertical. The remaining 10 came at me in a coordinated final surge, and I met them with the kind of ferocity that comes from knowing someone is watching you fight for your life, is watching you refuse to break. I moved through them like I'd been built for exactly this moment, like every scar on my body had been training for this specific sequence of strikes and counters and desperate decisions. The last drone fell at my feet, and I stood alone in a corridor full of black biomechanical corpses, breathing hard, armor scorched, bleeding in at least 3 places, and completely certain that I was going to make it. Because Lyria was still watching. The gate opened. I walked through and barely made it 3 steps before my legs decided they'd done all they were going to do and I collapsed. Lyria caught me before I hit the floor. her hands gripping my armor like she could hold me together through sheer will. "You came back alive," she said. "You were watching," I said. The medical team was already running forward, already preparing the healing pod and the transfusion lines and all the things that were going to keep me in the world for longer than I'd had any right to expect. But before they got to me, Lyria pressed her forehead against mine. An old Sylvari gesture that meant something beyond trust, something that meant you'd survive fire itself if someone believed in you hard enough. "Don't ever do that alone again," she said. "Can't promise that," I said. "But I can promise I'll always have someone watching." She smiled through tears. "That's enough," she said. The shuttle launched 2 minutes later. Marcus Sterling and Lyria Vex. And 800 reasons why two species that had no business trusting each other had found a reason to do exactly that.